Hello, hi, welcome to my kitchen again. Today we're going to make something yummy again, as always. Welcome to the 90-something show. I don't know, I'm kind of confused about all of that. No, I'm joking. I did actually eventually get my head around this whole 100, 101st situation. So, we will be doing Brownie Day on the 101st show. It is a little bit unusual, but you know, that's kind of like how we roll. So, you know, we're going to go for it with the 101st. So, let me just say hello to lots of people because I can see that there are loads of you already today, which is wonderful. So Karen, Paul, Colleen, Justine, Mercedes, Annie, Katie, thank you for being admin today. Deborah, Denise, Sarah, Rukita? I don't know if I said that right. Sorry if I didn't. George. And he says you had me at gooey cookies. Okay, so it is a really, really healthy recipe today. Really healthy recipe. I do try to make our recipes as healthy as possible, but sometimes we have, you know, things like coconut sugar in it. This one doesn't have any refined sugar or any coconut sugar, loads of fibre, and in fact, this is a really, really good either pre or post workout snack. And so the reason why, and actually, those of you who actually know about nutrition and are qualified can probably like help me out with this. So you know, we've got the taste of the sugariness, the sweetness from either the apricots that we use or the figs or the dates or whatever it is, and that can actually power you through exercise, which is like one of the things that I find really, really amazing about the human body and food is that we just get that taste of sweetness and it can make us have more energy, and it's just a completely psychosomatic thing, but something that I've definitely implemented when I have been working out or been going for a run or anything like that. So let me just say hello to a few more people who've come in. Porva, thank you for joining us. Taryn says that she just found out about this. And so if you mean the whole lives, you know, these recipes, we have 90 something already on our page from the last 90 something days that we've been doing. So we will continue to do these lives every day until the 2nd of July. Then we'll have a little break. Then we'll come back for Thursdays, Fridays and Saturdays at midday. Every Thursday, Friday, Saturday at midday. Okay, so and also we will be resharing. We'll be resharing a lot of our lives because sometimes like they just get lost into like the Facebook ether, and even though like we tell you, oh yeah, we did a live on that, go and check it out, it can be really, really difficult to find. So we'll be resharing some of those, and also undertaking the massive and somewhat tedious job, which is getting them all onto our website. So I have done the first month of that, but I have another 2 months to go. So, you know, it's going to be one of those jobs where it's like, get the kettle on, get some good music on, and then just kind of like plow through it. But it is on the cards. It's on the cards. I promise. Michael, thank you for joining us, and Debbie, and Tracy Ann. Hello. Okay, so yes, as I was saying, really good pre-workout snack. But also, I think it's probably going to be good as a post-workout snack as well, depending on what exercise you're doing. So I historically have done a lot of weights, not so much these days. Best get that sorted. I'm mainly running, really. Very inspired by our own Doug, who is an epic runner. So he's actually signed up to do a marathon around Loch Ness, which is pretty astounding. He's actually done it before. He's like such a pro at these things. But if any of you guys want any help with running, then do have a chat with Doug, who is in our group. That's Doug Moore, M-A-W. He is also a registered dietitian. So if you guys have any particular questions about nutrition, then he's a really, really good source of information and advice. And he actually works with clients as well. So if that's something that you're looking for, then do connect with Doug. Okay, so on to our recipe for today. So as you saw in the intro, some of you saw in the intro, we're making these lovely gooey walnut cookies. So with our recipe today, as I said, no refined sugar. The sweetness is going to come from either figs or dates or dried apricots, anything like that you can use. I wouldn't say that you can use, sorry, I've just been reading your comments. Does baking count as a workout? It really depends on how you do it. It really depends on how you do it. So if like you're going to go and put something in the oven and you just happen to do like 50 squats before you actually put it into the oven, then yes, that would count as exercise. Don't leave the oven door open though, please, while you're doing your 50 squats. Okay, so yes, with our recipe, no refined sugar. We've just got, I'm going to be using figs. They're nice squishy ones today as well, which I'm really looking forward to using. And, you know, real whole foods with the rest of the recipe. So you can use walnuts, or you can use other nuts. That's absolutely fine. I try to use hazelnuts and walnuts as much as I can because they can be grown in the UK, and so I'm trying to transition to using ingredients that can be grown in the UK, even if they're not at the moment. I figure that that's the way I want my cuisine, I want my cooking to go in, so that I can use ingredients that are grown in this country and so are more sustainable. And I'll be using figs today, and then you can use either quinoa flakes, millet flakes, ground almond, or something like that. But actually I decided that I really wanted to use flaxseed. I really wanted to use flaxseed because something that we talk a lot about getting flaxseed into our diet and the omega-3s and 6s, and I know that a lot of you will probably have bought some and have used the odd spoon or two for cereal, or making a cake or cookies or something like that, but we want to get it more into our diet because it's such an amazing product. Okay, so let's come to the overhead cam and get started. I think we've probably already had a guess from Colleen about what is underneath the rainbow, oh, Colleen has actually guessed, and I totally, this wasn't intentional at all. She's actually guessed it's the rainbow about the post that I shared yesterday. So yeah, so that was Lara's page, which is called My Fair Ladle. Is that right? My Fair Ladle. And this is a complete coincidence, but maybe it's just it got into my subconscious somehow. So actually, I just did this underneath our rainbow because I really wanted to put something really happy underneath there. So it is literally just a meadow with a bee today, just to kind of brighten everyone's day. But I think by accident it is actually the picture from Lara's page. So let's go with that. Yeah, so if you guys haven't checked her page out, then please do. So Lara shares lots of information about sorry, just as I'm chatting, I'd like to see you guys, or I'd like you to see me, I should say. Yeah, Lara shares lots of information about how to buy things like clothing more sustainably, and she's really got so much information, so much knowledge about that. So please do check out her Facebook page, and I think it's My Fair Ladle. So if our admin for today, which is Katie, if you could, would you be able to find the link to Lara's Facebook page for us? So I did actually share it on our page yesterday. So it shouldn't be too hard to find. Hopefully. Thank you, Katie. You're brilliant. Okay, Linda, thank you for joining us again. Okay, so George says, I hate to be that guy, but 180 degrees Celsius is 360, not 390. So, okay, so when I looked at this on the internet, it says it was Actually, I think you're right. I thought it says 370. Oh, no, sorry, it's a typo today. It is a typo today. So sorry about that. Yeah, no, you got me. I'm sorry. A little bit sleepy today. It's going to be one of those days. But bear with me. Okay, so if anybody is cooking along at home, it is 180 degrees Celsius, and that is precisely, yeah, 356. 356. So sorry about that. That's my typo. Yeah, so 360 degrees Fahrenheit, gas mark 4 for today. So if you're cooking along at home, then do get that fired up and ready, and we'll get on to actually making these lovely gooey cookies. So let's come over to the overhead cam. There we go. And as I said, this is what we are going to be making today. So that is what we want all of these ingredients to end up looking like. Okay, right. So we have our baking liners, and I wanted to show you guys the packaging of these because I've had quite a few questions about them. And so oh, thank you to Katie for sharing the My Fair Ladle link. That's absolutely amazing. She does have a Facebook page now as well, so please do give that a like and follow as well. Justine asks, is there a way to make these less healthy? Babe, just cover them in chocolate. There you go. There we go. Nice and easy. Okay. And George says we should all be on Celsius anyway. Should we? I don't know. I think might we start an argument if we start talking about that? I don't know. I feel like that's a bit of a scary place to go to. Okay, so this is my reusable baking parchment that I wanted to show you guys. So really great. I got this from Ocado, so I know that you can get it from there. But you can, I'm sure you can buy these online as well. So it's Bake-O-Glide, which is, I don't know if it says where it's made actually, whether it's a UK company or somewhere else. Yeah, it's a UK company actually. Yeah, made by Falcon Products. So I really do recommend those. And I'm going to be using 2 today. And they do make ones that you can put into a loaf tin as well, that are the right shape for a loaf tin. So you know, you don't have to like worry about making this fit into a loaf tin. Yeah. Okay, so I've got 2 today because we can roll out our cookies between 2 baking sheets. Okay. So that's a really good thing to do, especially if our cookies are quite sticky. But I'll just pop this to the side for a moment whilst we make the filling. Okay, so first of all, we need to soak our fruit. So if it's a bit too dry, then we can soak it. But really, even though these are these are quite sticky, I'm gonna, sorry, I'm licking my fingers there. I'm still gonna soak them because we need to make sure that we've got enough moisture in the cookies. We definitely need that today. Okay, so we need around 1/4 cup of hot water. And so I've got figs here. I'm just gonna take this top bit off. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, there we go. So that bit there is quite hard. So I'm just going to take that off and pop them into a bowl. And just to make it a bit easier for them to really soften, I'm just going to tear them up as well. Just tear them in half. So guys, if you can, if you're going to use dried apricots, do try to get the ones without sulfur dioxide on them. So you know the ones without sulfur dioxide on because they're brown rather than orange, because the sulfur dioxide keeps them orange, but it's not very good for our tummy. Okay, and so now you need some hot water. So around 1/4 cup is absolutely fine. So I've got some water here that I've just boiled. So I'll pop some of that into, there we go. We just need about that much. There we we go. So just enough to cover it, really. There we go. And that can be just soaking whilst we make the dry ingredients. Okay, so I'm just making sure that the figs are underneath the water. There we go. And let me just see if I've missed any questions. Okay. Do you think prunes would work? Yes! Yes, Kelly! I'm sorry, I say that so emphatically. That's because I'm a massive fan of prunes. I think they get a really, really, really bad rap. And I don't know if it's like this in the rest of the world, but in the UK, they have like certain connotations. So that's why they get a bad rap. But prunes are really, really, really lovely, really, really healthy. They're also really great in stews as well. Apparently they can give stews a lovely meaty flavour. So, you know, if that's like something that, you know, you want, you know, you're making kind of like a farmhouse, you know, stew that would usually have meat in, then you can put a few prunes in there and it gives it that taste, apparently, according to Ottolenghi. That's what he said. Okay, so now let's just prep the dry ingredients. And you guys have like a couple of different options, really. So either we can try and make these as fine as we possibly can. Absolutely possibly can. I like to see that Paul is completely on it. I think I'm just going to give him the responsibility of doing all of like the organised and sensible things for the show, and I'll just get on with like showing you guys recipes. I think that's a really, really good option. Okay, so you guys have like a few different options with this. As I said, like you can either pop all of these dry ingredients in now, and we can make it as fine as possible. And because we don't have any wet ingredients in our blender, it means that we're going to be able to grind these very, very finely. And this is also why I'm making sure that this is completely dry and cleaned out. So I saw that there was a little bit of water in there, and that's why I'm being very careful to get any water out of it. Because the drier it is, if you can keep like no moisture, if you can make sure that there's no moisture in there at all, the blender has a much better chance of being able to make these into a fine powder. So I'm just making sure that there's no water left in the bottom of there, because you know, once you've washed it and had it in the dishwasher, the water can get trapped. Okay, so Louise, good morning, and Karen and Kelly. I'm sorry if I've missed anyone's names out, but it's a very busy show today. It's lovely. It's lovely. Everyone wants to know how to make gooey walnut cookies. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so we're just going to pop our walnuts in here. So you guys don't have to use walnuts if you don't want to. And as I said in the ingredients list, and that is one thing that I got right, is that you can use walnuts or you can use other nuts. That's absolutely fine. Hazelnuts we've got here, so I'll just pop those in. And so by doing it this way, I'm going to make sure that these are ground really quite finely, because that's how I'm feeling today. I don't want them to be so kind of chunky. But if you do want them to be chunky, then what you could do is you could either just semi blitz it, or you can blitz them with our figs. And it just means that you'll get to a point where it's like the blender doesn't want to do anything anymore. It's kind of blended them enough as it is, and it will still be chunky because we've got that moisture in there. Okay, so I'm just going to pop in my flaxseed as well. See, how easy is this? How easy is this? And right, these are the type of cookies that you go to Whole Foods and they're like £10 a packet. Honestly. Okay, so now I'm going to blitz this, but I'm probably going to have to jiggle it around a bit just to make sure that it blends very well. So this is still a bit too chunky for me. I don't want it to be chunky today, but you can do if you want to. But the guidance is that the finer it is, the better it will hold together. Okay. Okay. and if you want more flavour in this, then you could toast the hazelnuts definitely beforehand. You can even, in the UK, you can even buy pre-toasted and ground hazelnuts. So from Sainsbury's, you can get them. So, you know, just to like save you guys a step, you could use that. And actually, let me come over here. So there is an option for if you don't have a chopper attachment, you don't have a blender. So what we could do is we could swap out the any of the nuts for those pre-ground ones I told you about. So they're not very fine. They're not very fine. They're a bit chunky, the hazelnuts. So it's from Sainsbury's. They're toasted and ground hazelnuts. And they're a really, really great product to have actually at home because you've got loads of flavour in them and they're already done for you. So it's a really, really great shortcut. The other option as well is you could use some ground almond as well, because of course that is already ground for you. And then, but we've got ground almond already in that recipe, but yeah, you can use more of that. And then we have, of course, like the dried fruit. The only real way to get around that is to use like a date paste, something like that. So that is a way that you can get around it if you don't have one of these. Because I always want to give you the option if I can. It's not always possible, but quite often it is. Okay, so now we need to get rid of as much water out of these as we can. So I'm just giving them a bit of a squeeze. Do save this water. Save that water, because you can add that to a smoothie, and then you've got, you know, a bit of added sweetness, a bit of added nutrition as well into your smoothie. So it's definitely worth saving any water when you soak any dried fruit. Yeah, so let me just see. Oh no, we don't have any more questions. That's good. Okay, Gloria, hello, welcome. Okay, so we've got our figs in here, and now we're just going to give them another blitz. Just going to move that glass out of the way. It's a bit more sensible. And as you can see, I am pulsing it. So I'm not just putting it on and just leaving it and expecting my blender to move everything around, because I know that that's not going to happen with this, because it's quite a thick mixture, right? So we do have to help the blender out. So I think that you can use things like this, chopper attachments, for so much, but you just need to be mindful of how you use it and what it actually can do. We have to be realistic, actually. Oh, there are your questions. Sorry for a moment. Facebook just stopped all my questions. There we go. Okay, right. Okay, so hello to Patricia. I think that Facebook has made me go back in time, so I'm not sure that I'm seeing your up-to-date questions. Right, okay. I'm sorry if I've missed some. Yeah, so I am just pulsing it, and then that gives the mixture a little bit of breathing space just to go back down to the bottom. And so we're not going to put too much stress on our blender, because it could burn out if we put too much stress on it. Okay, right, and there we go. This is our mixture. How easy is that? Oh, and we need to just add a little bit of spice as well. So I said cinnamon, but you know, you guys can use whatever spice that you want to. Most sweet spices would go with this. Okay, so in my recipe I say 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. But as I said, you know, you can choose your own adventure with this. So we'll just add that. There we go. And just give this a good mix in. Okay, so this mixture it's sticking together, it's moldable. Yeah, so it isn't like massively wet. So we are gonna need to be a bit careful with it. There we go. Actually, yeah, it's sticking together a bit better the more that I mix it in. So now let's get our 2 baking sheets and we can roll out our mixture between them. Paul said, good that you have a reserve blender. Oh my god, love, I've got loads. I think we must have like double digits of blenders in the house. I'm pretty sure we do. I'm pretty sure we do. Okay, so this mixture, when we bake it, we're basically just drying it out. Yeah, because it doesn't really need cooking. It's not like we've got gram flour in there or anything like that that needs cooking out. So all we're doing when we bake it is we are drying it out just so that, you know, it's not so gooey, and so that it holds together in a cookie shape. That's literally all we're doing. So we need to be careful not to overbake it. So the cooking time is really, really short. It is just like 10 to 15 minutes. That's all. So I've popped my other baking sheet on top, and then I'll just use my rolling pin and flatten it. And you know, you guys can decide how thick or how thin you would like your cookies. I'm going to make mine around half a centimetre thick. Oh, by the way, who made the millet cookies? Can I have a hands up to anybody who made the millet cookies? Because I was just dreaming about, I was like fantasizing about them yesterday. Because they were good. They were really good. Yeah. Because they're really biscuity as well. In fact, I definitely think that they're biscuits rather than cookies. These are definitely cookies because they're stickier, they're gooier. Okay, so there we go. If you guys don't have a rolling pin, then you can use, like if you've got like a large glass that is flat on the side, then you could just use a glass, but just be really, really careful. But you can also use your hand. Like this is the type of mixture where you can actually use your hand and just flatten it out. So we've got, yes, Colleen definitely made them. Gloria said that it's on her to-do list. I would love to see a picture when you make them. George said, could I swap black cardamom for cinnamon, or would the cardamom be too intense? It really depends on how much you use, babe. So, but this is the type of mixture that we can make and taste. Yeah, so when we taste it, it's gonna be exactly the same as once we've cooked it. Okay, so it's similar to, you know, raw food. What we taste now is what the end result will be like. So just taste it. I would say, George, just add it. In fact, I'm gonna get you guys to come over here. There we go. That's better. So I would say add some, mix it in, and taste it, and then see how it is, and then add more if you want to. Black cardamom is lovely, really, really lovely. Ran after my own heart. Really, really like black cardamom. And what I would say as well is, there's something else I was going to say. I'm sorry, it's one of those days today. I can't think of what I was going to say. I'm sure it was important. It was something about black cardamom. Oh yeah, the flavour will get more intense. So if these are cookies that are going to, you know, you're not going to eat them all straight away. They're going to last like 2, maybe 3 days. Just be aware that the black cardamom will probably get stronger. But that might not be a bad thing. That might not be a bad thing. I quite like the way that food like changes in flavour like that. So, okay. So let's come back to the overhead cam. So yeah, we had quite a few hands up from people who made the millet cookies. Annie said, I can't find the recipe for the millet cookies. I want to make them, so can you post it? Yeah, I'll dig out the video for that and reshare it. Patricia says, can we make it in a ball shaped like energy balls? So this, you could, and you could just not bake it. I would suggest that for energy balls. So just have them as they are. Just have them as they are. This mixture though, I think is a bit too wet for energy balls, so you probably want to add some more of those dry ingredients. So, okay, so now on to cutting them. So I'm going to use my glass here. If you're using your glass, do be really, really careful. Don't slam it down, please, no matter what type of mood you're in today. Okay, but obviously, you know, if you've got a cookie cutter, then that's the ideal. So we'll just make our, there we go, cookie shapes. And so these are going to be, as I said, very gooey. You'll be able to feel this when you make the dough. You'll be able to feel how gooey they are. They are very gooey. So as I said, you know, us baking them, we're just drying them out enough so that you know, they have they're a bit firmer, basically. They're a bit firmer because, you know, in raw food, like, we do get a lot of these things like cookies, but I think for me the texture of food is so important. So in raw food, you know, you get these cheesecakes and it said that it would have like a, you know, an almond crumb on the bottom or something like that, but actually the bottom would just be wet, and I don't think that that's very nice. Like, I want it to be like a bit crunchy, or, you know, and so you'd have things like biscuits, but they'd be like this and they're just really gooey. I don't get that. Okay, so once a few of these are done, we can just pop them onto our tray. Really simple, really simple. And guys, you've got like a few different options there. So, you know, depending on what you have in your cupboards, you could probably freestyle. But I would say that with the dried fruit, I don't really think that you could use something like sultanas or raisins. Maybe you could just add a few of those in, but not for like the bulk of the dry fruit part of this recipe, because, you know, there's a lot of skin there, so it's probably not going to be as gooey as this is. Okay, so there we go. Justine says I use peanut butter. That's an amazing idea. Peanut butter on everything, I think. Colleen says, funny thing about those cookies, it would have been cheaper to ship the pistachio butter from the company Chef Day recommended than it would have been to buy my own here. Oh my gosh. Okay. George says, thanks. I didn't realise the cardamom flavour would get more intense over time. Yes, it may well do. It may well do. But to be honest, I defy anyone to have cookies left in their house the next day. So, you know, it might not be a factor. It might not be a factor. I mean, my aim is to get you guys making cookies and they last no more than 24 hours, please. Okay, so we're getting quite a few out of this. Oh, the thickness, yeah, 0.5 centimetre. Thank you for answering, Christine. That's very kind of you. Okay, so yeah, and Paul just commented about me saying about texture of food is important. Yeah, it is so important, so important. And at the moment, we're gearing up for our professional chef course online, and one of the things that we teach our students about, of which we have 2 in the room at the moment with us. So we have Justine and Annie, who will both be on the course. And one of the really big things that we try to teach students is that it's not just about flavour. It's not just about taste. Sorry, it's not just about taste. So it's not just, you know, sweet or sour or bitter or umami or anything like that. It's also about the mouth feel and crunch and sound as well. I think sound is like such a big part of food. Yeah, so we've got to take all of that into consideration. So say, for example, with our fig walnut cookies today, because we've got these lovely tiny little seeds from the fig, that's going to be quite crunchy. So when I eat it, there is going to be this lovely sound. Sorry, I just pop those into the oven. So it's about like 10 minutes or something like that. So it means I get to have a chat with you guys while they're cooking. Yeah, so as I was saying, you know, the texture the sound, the mouthfeel, all of those things are really, really important with food. So I'm a really, really big fan of, you know, when like you have crisps and you get one that's kind of like folded over, and then you put it into your mouth and there's like this epic crunch. Like, I love that. I absolutely love that. And it's that sound and the feeling of it, and it just like, I mean, the sound, like, it's like a bloody like crisp orchestra in your head. It's amazing. It's amazing. And so, you know, all of those things really affect our relationship with food. Really affect our relationship with food. And that's why I don't like food that is just it has the texture of baby food. You know, you'll have like a whole thing and it'll just be like, you know, like a dessert, you know, and there's no like crunch or crackle or anything like that. There's no chewiness, like it's all like baby. No, no, no. Don't like that. Don't like that. Okay, so right, okay, so you're just talking about what is underneath the rainbow, and it was like me being, yeah, I just couldn't think of what to put underneath the rainbow today. So it must have come through my subconscious, and it's the picture from Lara's Facebook page and her site. So if any of you guys are interested in like sustainable living and stuff like that, then do check out My Fair Ladle. Katie shared the link to that earlier today. And actually, Lara, she runs the Jewish Vegetarian Society, which is actually vegan. So if any of you guys are interested in that, then do check them out as well. Kelly said, "Oh my God, good luck to those taking the course. They're in good hands." They're in good hands. I have absolutely every faith in Justine and Annie. And one of the things that I have seen from Justine and Annie, and from a lot of you guys as well, is just the willingness to get stuck in. And when I think that is like the key to being a good cook and a good chef, is the willingness to make mistakes, and just kind of get on with it. I mean, like, me, Katie, and Nikki, we do that all the time. All the time. Like, for example, when I put the wrong Fahrenheit onto our list there, or the wrong ingredients, or one of the many other things that I've done wrong on the show. But you know, we're still here day after day, week after week, and we will not let things like that deter us. So let me just see if, oh, Patricia, you just joined the course. Oh, that's awesome. I'm really, really pleased about that. So we will let you guys know how the course is going, and also like pictures from our students as well, because we love showing them off. We really, really do love showing them off. Okay, so guys, any questions before we toddle off? See if we've got some questions and we can carry on talking, and then the cookies will be ready, because I've only got like about another like 5 minutes, something like that. Colleen quite rightly said experiments can be delicious. Absolutely, absolutely. I remember one day I was trying to make some cookies for, it was recipe, I was recipe developing for a client, and I ended up making brandy snaps. I was like, well, I didn't make cookies, but at least I know how to make brandy snaps now. So, you know, you just got to roll with it. You just got to roll with it. And I would say, you know, if you guys want to be a bit more experimental with food, then but the only time you really have to play around with food is when you're making lunch or dinner for you and your family, or, you know, whatever. Then make sure you just have something in the freezer. Just make sure you have something in the freezer, because quite often, like, they are the only times that people get to cook. But then you feel the pressure, because it's like, well, if it goes wrong, then what are we going to have for lunch or dinner? When it's just for you, you know, maybe you don't mind so much, but there is an added pressure of when you're making it for somebody else. So I always recommend have something in the freezer, or, you know, tins in the cupboard that you can quickly whip out if it doesn't work out, and then nobody needs to know. Okay, so Kelly said, do you think you'd ever do a cookbook? So I did look into this recently, and I looked into self-publishing, but because most people, you guys can tell me whether this is true or not, most people want every recipe in a cookbook to have a photo, otherwise they don't make that recipe. Is that right? Am I right in thinking that? Because I'm kind of like assuming that, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. But the problem is that if we do have a cookbook that has a colour photo for every recipe, the cost of that is so much. Like, it is, like, it's probably like the most expensive type of book you can actually create. That it would cost us an absolute fortune to make. And then we don't know if we're going to sell any. We don't know if we're going to, well, we don't know if we're going to sell many, because I'm sure that you guys will buy some, but, you know. Yeah, Joss says that you need photos. Yeah. Yeah, so that's the thing, you know, and we could make an ebook, but I'm not sure that ebooks have really taken hold. I think online courses, yes, definitely. But ebooks, maybe like not so much. I don't know. So Justine says, sorry, Joss said need photos. Justine says, yeah, I had to redo the mac cheese because the burnt saucepan was putting burnt bits in. Oh no! Annie says, I would tend to use a recipe with a photo, but not always. Justine said, and yes, photos. Christine said, I eventually tracked down Tagaroshi. The spice that I wanted for a recipe. Now I can't find the recipe. Any suggestions for what I could use it for? So it's sashimi togarashi. I've got some in my cupboard here somewhere. So I think it's got the spelling on it. No, I can't find it right now. I'll have to show you guys a photo of it later. So sashimi togarashi is basically like a spice mix. It's also got sesame seed in there. It's got a bit of mace in it as well. Anyway, that just sprinkled on. So say for example you make something like miso tofu and you have some white rice or brown rice on the side. That the sashimi togarashi sprinkled on top of it is really, really lovely. So basically it's kind of like a Japanese condiment that is spicy. So any way that you want to use, you know, spicy chili heat, that type of thing. So yeah, you can add it like that. So it's fairly flexible. Kelly says, I do say it helps me decide on the recipe if there's a photo. Yeah. Kelly says, I would fund a Kickstarter. Just saying. It's a very good idea. Very good idea. Catherine says, we know your recipes are good. A few photos would be good. Yeah, absolutely. Justine said, I hope that Khan is okay. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Khan, if you watch this later on, we're sending you all our love. Gloria says, we have a good printer. Yes, because you had a book printed actually, didn't you, Gloria? So it is definitely an option. And Justine said, oh, okay, so the best comfort dish pudding. What? I'm a bit lost now. Right, let me just check on our cookies and see how they're doing. I'll just put this down here so we don't burn. Okay. So how long's that been? I kind of lose track of time when I'm talking to you guys. Okay, so I think that's been, what, 5 minutes? 5 minutes. So I'll bring you guys to the overhead cam. There we go. So they haven't changed colour much. We don't really need them to change colour. They might just like brown slightly around the edges, but they're just firming up just around here. And that's all we need them to do, really. We want the centre to stay gooey, but we want the outside just to stiffen up a bit, just so that they'll hold together, basically. So we'll put these in for another 5 minutes. And see if we have any more questions from you guys. Oh, Justine was talking about what's the best comfort dish? Pudding! Yeah, it is. It is. I would also say there's loads of other like comfort food dishes that aren't dessert. So things like lasagna or mac and cheese, vegan of course. You know, that type of thing. Anything like kind of like potato-y and like the dauphinoise. The potato dauphinoise that we did a few weeks ago. It was very, very comfort foody. Really, really like that. And I'm not a massive potato fan either. Justine says that she's melting in the sun. She's our postie, so you know, send her love and hugs. Okay, she deserves it. And Catherine said, I'm not cooking long today, but it is more fun. It's a lovely motivation. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's one thing that we've had really good feedback from you guys on, is that actually by cooking along, it gets you kind of like into action, really. So rather than you looking at like a recipe and thinking, oh yeah, one day I'll make it, and then you never do. You know, it kind of like forces everybody to do that. Patricia says lentil pie. Yeah. Are we talking about comfort food now? Yes, definitely, definitely. Jeff really liked the lentil shepherd's pie that I made, and he keeps telling me that I should teach it to you guys. I think it's a bit boring, but no, probably isn't. Probably isn't. So we will definitely have to do that one day together. Denise said that she'll send Khan our love and hugs. Please do, please do. Annie says, oh, they smell so nice. I've opened the oven to check on them. Oh, Annie, you're cooking along. Good. Good. So Annie, what did you use exactly the same ingredients as me or different? I'd really like to know. Karen, okay, you said that you've enjoyed cooking along. Does that mean that you cooked along today? Or just kind of like in general? I don't know. Okay, so not long until these are done. I don't know if I've got anything else to talk to you about today. So, how's life? How's life, everyone? You guys can tell me. Come on, you guys can tell me. How's life? We can just like have a chit chat until our cookies are ready. Basically, I think that's what we should do. That's definitely what we should do. And how are your ideas for decorating your brownies coming along? Because I know Justine's coming along very well. I mean, like, she's totally like planning this whole thing out. I would say there's going to be a prize, but I know what would end up happening is that I would say that you're all winners. You're all winners. Okay, so Annie said I had figs and ground almonds. Oh, and pecans. Great. Really, yeah, I think that they're a really good substitution for in this recipe. Because pecans are, you know, they're nice and sweet. They're one of the sweeter nuts. So Kelly says it's 5:50 a.m. in Yellowknife, Canada. Gonna be a long day. See, you need some of these cookies. They would really help. Because it's, you know, that kind of like boost in energy that we need, but it's from a healthy source. Karen says I'm suffering with hay fever. Okay, so Karen, I used to have incredibly bad hay fever from about the age of 12, 13. My eyes would just stream, and I had to have like all of the windows and doors shut and stuff like that. And I tried so many different things. And loads of homeopathic and herbal remedies. Loads of herbal remedies. And eventually somebody recommended that I went to a homeopath in Brighton, a gentleman called Christian who works at Dolphin House. I think you can still get in contact with him as well. And so I went and chatted to him, talked to him for about an hour. He asked me really bizarre questions, gave me these 3 little white tablets, and cured me of my hay fever. And that was about 20 years ago, and it's only just starting to come back now. And I was really skeptical. I was so skeptical about this, but I was like, well, I have to try something, because the only tablets that would really work for me were the strong ones, and then they'd make me drowsy. So I would definitely recommend it to anyone to go and see someone like that, definitely about hay fever, because it really helped me. I'm starting to get it a bit now again, but only slightly. Okay, so sorry, I've missed. Okay, yeah. So Annie says I'm useless at decorating cakes, so I'm struggling. I would say look on the internet for inspiration. There's so much. There's so much inspiration for decorating cakes, and use them as a guide. So if, like, you know, I remember like once I was trying to make monkey faces because I was working in the monkey sanctuary in Cornwall. So we were making monkey cupcakes, and to raise money for charity. And the first one I did, like, it just looked like a really scary monkey. Like we're not going to sell any of these to kids because they're just going to run in the opposite direction screaming. And so I got the picture up on my phone, and I use that as a guide. So have it right there next to you, and then it will really, really, really help you a lot. Okay, so George says life is wonderful. Your life is a fantastic way. Good, good. Oh, good. Okay, so let me just see if I've. Oh, Paul said apparently Annie tripled the ingredients. Go Annie. Karen said thank you so much. I'll check him out. Yeah, so his name is Christian, and he worked at Dolphin House. But I think like there are websites where you can find like homeopaths, and I googled his name, Christian, at Dolphin House in Brighton, and I was able to find him. So I'm sure you'll be able to find him, but let me know if you can't. George says Yellowknife is one of my favourite cities. Oh, okay. Well, road trip. I think we should all go there. Sounds lovely. Midnight Sun. What? Right. Karen says I got an A-side air fryer decoration. Oh, good, good, good. Gloria says I can't draw a straight line, so my icing skills are dire. Well, I would say, right, if that is an issue, then I would lean into it. So if you're not good at straight lines, then do something like really crazy. I mean, we have said as well with these brownies, they can be as bright and beautiful and, you know, crazy as you want them to be. So I would just do like squiggles or something like that. So I'd say, you know, if you do have like things like that, then just lean into it. And just make it as busy as you want to. You know, edible glitter, flowers, like the lot. Okay, right. So I think that our brownies will be ready now. Our brownies? These aren't brownies. These are cookies. Silly. Yeah, our cookies are definitely ready. So let's bring you guys to the overhead cam so you can see our cookies. And they have just browned around the edge. So see with this one, you can see a lot more. I'm just going to pop it onto here because it is going to be hot. There we go. So it's just browned around the edge there. And so don't take them off here just yet because they are going to be a bit squidgy and maybe, you know, slightly floppy. So we'll just leave them to cool on the tray. And then once they're cool, then we can take them off. And they will, you know, firm up a little bit. So, Denise, I'm sorry, I'm not going to try one of these yet. Because it will burn my mouth. So sorry, I can't do that today. But I will definitely enjoy them later. Definitely enjoy them later. So as I said, like, you know, you can make them a bit thicker. This one's like a little bit thicker. But most of them are fairly thin. I like them thin, to be honest. Annie says, I think my cookies are done. Are yours? Yes. Yes, absolutely. George says, at summer solstice, the sun basically doesn't set. A surreal experience. That sounds good. Justine said, brownies. I know. Sometimes I just swap words for other words. And whilst that is like slightly annoying in real life, it's probably like really annoying when you guys are trying to follow what I'm saying. And you're like, did she say brownies? But did she mean cookies? I have no idea. Anyway, Denise says thank you for your time. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your time. Denise is laughing because I'm not going to try one of these just yet because they are way hot. Way hot. Oh, look at the brown. They look really nice underneath as well. Actually, let's bring you guys back to the overhead cam so you can see. There we go. Really lovely browning. So sometimes when you guys are, you know, plating up cookies, then just have a look at underneath and see if that colour might look a bit more attractive. Because, you know, there is that. That looks pretty, but it's more of a goldeny brown colour there. So I'll plate them that way. There we go, guys. So I hope that you have enjoyed this really, really super easy recipe today. And let me just see if there are any more questions, comments. Karen says, I love cake decorating. The course a few years ago made a castle cake. Okay, Karen, we have high hopes for you now. You have like totally set your bar very, very high. So thank you for that. I'm really looking forward to seeing all of your creations. But just remember that the whole like brownie decorating extravaganza that we're going to have is just about you guys being playful and silly and enjoying the experience and enjoying being creative and having fun with food and not taking it so seriously, which I think is the key to being a good home cook. It's also the key to being a good chef as well. So Denise says you can make an ice cream sandwich. That sounds like a good idea. Actually, I've got some frozen bananas. Okay, that's lunch sorted. Thank you for that suggestion, Denise. Colleen says, day 8 for my first brew of kombucha. Oh, good, good, good. So my kombucha, it lasts about 7 days before I do the next one, but give it a taste, you know, make sure that you give it a taste. Gloria says, can you make vegan ice cream in an ice cream maker? That's a really good question. Yes, absolutely you can, absolutely. I love a good ice cream machine, but yes, yeah, you can. It's really, really easy. But Gloria, like a really, 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 really simple version of vegan ice cream is frozen bananas in a blender. That's it. Because you don't have any like refined sugar in there either. If you want to add like some cacao, some cocoa as well, you can add that in. You can add some dates in. There's loads of different variations. But I would say like that is, yeah, really, really easy. But yes, you can. You can. So I'm getting off the subject. Can be talking about an ice cream. We'll be here for days. Okay, so Annie says, thank you. I just tasted a bit of my taster misshapen cookie. Oh, I do that too. So when I have like a little bit left over that isn't going to quite make a whole big cookie, I have this on the side. So if I do want to just test during the cooking process how they're getting along, then I can take this one out and I can try it. So David says July 2nd is also sometimes known as next Thursday. Is it really next Thursday? Time is flying by. Colleen says, no, I mean, I'm still making it. It's day 8, not sure if it's ready. Give it a taste. Give it a taste and see. So I keep my kombucha going until it tastes like vinegar. Not everybody likes that. Not everybody likes that. But then I introduce some sort of sweetness with, berries or orange juice, like fresh orange juice, like that type of thing. Gloria says, I've got a great big ice cream maker that's underused. Gloria, when I come and see you, and I really hope that that's going to be soon, we're definitely going to make ice cream together. Okay, so it has to be in the summer. So, all this like lockdown stuff, we have to get over it. Because I need to come and see Gloria and we need to make ice cream together. Okay, so I think that's it for today. Karen says, wow, that's spooky. I got a brand new ice cream maker from a charity shop yesterday. Really looking forward to using it. Let us know how you get on. Ice cream makers are a wonderful thing. And also you can make sorbets and sherbets and, all manner of things. Okay, guys. So thank you for joining me today. It's been a really, really, really fun show. Sorry about the little snafu on the Fahrenheit, but that's life. That's life. So as always, please do share your pictures. Share your pictures of the cookies that you are all going to make in our group, in our community hub, because I'd really, really like to see them. Really like to see them, and of course you inspire others to make them as well. So Annie, please do remind me, because I've already forgotten what recipe it was you asked for. Millie cookies! That was it. Millie cookies. Right, I'm on it. And thank you guys. And please do, as always, have a great day.